UCLA is a university with unlimited possibilities for students that desire world-class academics and research, unmatched diversity, incredible cultural and social opportunities, successful alumni and career networking, first-class campus facilities, plus America's top intercollegiate sports teams. Located in Westwood, just a few miles from the Pacific Ocean, UCLA's 1 square mile campus is surrounded by famous cities such as Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, and Santa Monica.
Welcome to UCLA Bruin Talk. I'm Ralph Irvin, and this week we are talking golf and men's basketball. We'll be joined by senior golfer Erik Flores, as well as assistant basketball coach Scott Garson.
UCLA is having a lot of exciting events. Let's take a look.
Erik Flores is a senior golfer from Grass Valley, California. This season, he's averaging 72.6 strokes per round. He has a tournament win and 3 top 5 finishes. Of course, he was also a member of the 2008 National Championship team, and they're getting set to do a run again through the NCAAs. Erik, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's go back to last season, championship run, championship win. How was that experience, and what did you learn from it?
I mean, it's just an awesome experience. You know, you dream of coming to a big school like UCLA and winning championships, and that's what UCLA is all about. And that was instilled to us. As soon as we got on campus, the first kind of cookout, the athlete cookout, and it's just it's a dream come true, and it's helped me a lot through since then. Just trying to I guess repeat is the toughest thing to do. So it just kind of gives you a little extra motivation.
Well, and playing golf it's a sort of event where you can be a great team, but when it comes to that tournament, if things just don't go right, you don't win. And probably taught you something in that one event, coming out and just pulling out a big tournament championship.
Yeah, I mean, it took a lot of a part, of the teammates. Everyone was hitting clutch shots down the stretch. Kevin Chappell was chipping in on 17 and made a clutch par on the last hole, and our other senior, Craig Leslie, birdied 2 of the last 3, which were the 3 hardest holes on the golf course. Right. So, it's just a huge team effort. We won by 1 shot, which is, so minuscule. It's less than a point in basketball if it counts. It's 5 players, 1 shot. So, it's just, you feel, lucky, and you just feel rewarded for all your efforts.
When you guys won, you actually, got to go visit the White House. Can you talk a little bit about the experience and what it was like?
The White House was awesome. I mean, it was, it's an experience that I'll definitely take with me forever. It was amazing how big it was. I didn't, think how huge the rooms were. The ceilings were like 20, 25 feet tall.
Wow.
And Secret Service was there, and they're all, gunned up. And so, we talked to them, and they were really cool. But it was just cool to meet the president. He acknowledged our school and our programs as being the best, and he was just, he was really engaging, and so that was, I guess, a good experience. We got some solid, 5 minutes with him, and it was just 5 guys. So it was pretty cool to have somebody that, huge in the spotlight all the time, and our country's leader spending time with us. So it was really cool.
Now, you're the only senior on this year's team, a lot of young players. Mm-hmm. You've got an experience now of winning a championship. What what can you pass on to younger players in a sport like golf?
You know, it's tough to I guess, relay a lot of experiences, but, you know, the younger guys are so energetic and they're so, you know, gung-ho about everything that it's a lot of fun. The inexperience has definitely hurt us up to this point, but we've had a good year. We've had the toughest schedule all year of anybody in the country, so we've had a lot of experiences up to this point, so hopefully that'll, you know, pay off in the postseason.
Now, I would imagine that when it comes to preparing for a different type of course than maybe you're used to, that's something that they may come and ask about, you know, how a green may run or how soft or hard the ground can be.
Yeah, the conditions are definitely different in college, so that's probably, you know, you're right about that. I'll definitely help them mostly on that because the pin positions are a lot tougher than they're used to from junior golf.
Right.
The greens are going to be a lot faster and the courses are going to be longer. So, you know, that's why we put some time in the weight room, you know, hopefully, you know, get stronger, gain some distance, and then just really course management. That's Derek, our coach, is really key on course management and just maximizing your scoring opportunities.
And going back on being, you know, the only senior on your team, do you, you know, sort of motivate them before they go off and play, you know, being looked up as the only senior on the team?
Not too much. I mean, you know, golf's such an individual sport and everybody has their own different game.
Right.
So, you know, like I said, all of it goes into preparation and, you know, it's good to try to be an example in the preparation because that's really all you can do. Everyone's going to play the course differently. Like I said, everyone has a different game, different strengths and weaknesses. So, you know, my best advice to be for them is to just do what they do best, you know.
Now, you getting ready for the NCAA regionals and then hopefully do well enough there that you go to the NCAA championship tournament. How do you prepare for that relative to how you prepared for the rest of the season up to this point?
You know, it's you try to say you're not going to do anything differently, but you know it's going to be more important. So you're definitely going to focus a little bit more in the practice rounds, which is key because we only get to see the course one time before we start playing, and it's only 3 rounds, and it's do or die. You know, you got to take a top 5, or else you're packing it up. So, you know, regionals is always the most pressure-packed tournament I think throughout the year, just because it's you could be ranked #1 in the country and it doesn't matter. You're not going to go to the finals unless you get through that regional. So we're ranked, I think, 17th or 16th, I think, right now. So you know, I think we got a great chance. We just need to, you know, pull together and get some good you know, bottom guy support, you know.
Well, and you mentioned earlier how winning by 1 stroke is a lot closer than even 1 point in basketball. Yeah. People probably don't realize that you can make up or lose ground really quickly in a tournament because you have 5 players that are putting up scores at the same time.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch if you watch online or watching in person. The scores can fluctuate a lot just because you have 5 players, 4 scores counting. I mean, a couple birdies here and a couple bogeys there. On the other team, you know, we're talking 8-shot swings in 2 holes, which is, you know, it's just never over. It's always it's a nail biter all the time. Yeah, unless you have like a 15, 20-shot lead, you really aren't safe. So you gotta stay on top of your game.
Going back to NCAA, you guys are preparing for it. Who do you see as your biggest competitors this year?
SC's had a very good year. They struggled in Pac-10s, which we beat them, got the gauntlet points. But I think Georgia is always good. They're always a strong team. Those are probably the top 2. Stanford's really good too. Pac-10 is very good. Washington has been really hot lately, probably been playing the best. They've won their last 2 tournaments, including Pac-10s, by very, very handily. I mean, really easily. So those are our top competitors. So, you know, those Pac-10 schools in Georgia.
Now, there's practice for golf, and there's practice for a lot of the sports that are here at UCLA. How is it that you train for golf tournaments?
Well, we have lifting 4 days a week, which includes some conditioning. Had some conditioning this morning at 7 a.m. So we're out there just like, you know, most of the teams. And other than that, we're at different courses, and we have a little on-campus facility. And basically, we try to use that time. You know, if we're playing, we're going to play a game within ourselves to create some competition, and then we'll do, other than that, just individual practice. Like I said, it's such an individual a sport that, you know, you want guys working on what they need to work on. So you maximize that time.
Well, and you have access to some of the best courses in Southern California for practice.
Yeah,
don't you?
definitely. TBC Valencia has been great. They host us up in Valencia, which has probably the best facility that we have access to, and then as well as Bel Air across the street. We play on Tuesday, Thursdays. So LA Country Club's also been nice this year and hosted us a lot.
Great.
Golf not only is a physical sport, but it's also very mental. How do you mentally prepare?
Like I said, preparation's key. Developing a game plan on each course that suits your game the best is probably the best way to go about it. I try to, after I develop my game plan the night before, I definitely think of each hole, each shot, go through each shot. You just try to imagine or visualize, what you want to happen, and just you kind of want to check out mentally and of everything else and just focus on what you're doing on that shot. So it's definitely tough to do because, it's the only sport the ball is just sitting there waiting for you to hit it. There's no reaction. There's no reaction time. It's everything. You have, if you hit a drive 300 yards, you have 300 yards to walk and think about what the next shot could be. So it's definitely tough.
Well, and the nature of the sport is you can't plan too much because if you do one little thing wrong, that whole plan can go right out the window. So it's really a balancing act. Yeah,
definitely. You have to definitely be flexible with your game plan when things do go wrong. If you hit it in the trees, you can't. You got to take your medicine and just kind of punch out, make par, try to make par, or make bogey, and that's just what you got to do. That's how the game's played. The interesting stat about most teams that win is they don't make the least amount of bogeys, they make the least amount of double bogeys. So if you can minimize the big scores, it's definitely key.
Now, senior, you've been playing as an active member of the team since you were a freshman. What memories jump out? Are there a couple? I mean, obviously the national championship, but is there anything else that really jumps out at you?
Yeah, freshman year, I had a great freshman year and was Pac-10 freshman of the year and in the running for national freshman of the year. So that was really fun just to come, kind of start off really well and get a solid season under my belt. Obviously, last year was, that's everything. That's everything you work for.
Right.
That was our year as a team, with our two seniors and a couple juniors that we had. Also with our good recruit freshman Philip Francis. So, it's always tough to, that's your year, and so it's always rewarding to capitalize on that. Mm-hmm. Also, Pac-10 championship freshman year for our team was a lot of fun. So.
Erik, do you have any aspirations of turning pro this year?
Definitely. I'm going to turn professional in the fall. I'm going to stay amateur for the summer, try to do the Walker Cup team, which is just a huge amateur tournament, and it's United States versus Great Britain. And it's just, has so much tradition around it, and also it's really key on a resume moving forward. So definitely turn pro in the fall and doing the amateur this summer. And
that turning pro isn't like a lot of other sports where you hope to get drafted by a team. It then falls all on your shoulders.
It definitely does. It's the toughest, one of the toughest sports. I guess it's kind of like baseball in a way, where it's even then there's still no draft. There's no guaranteed money. There's no guaranteed spots playing, or even to be on the PGA Tour. So you're kind of thrown back in the bottom of the totem pole, bottom of the heap, and you got to work your way back up. So it's definitely a tough sport.
Do you even want to think about that now, or is it really just focus on NCAAs and we'll worry about that individual stuff later?
Yeah, I've been trying to just focus on each tournament in front of me, and that's the best I can do, and everything else just seems to fall into place after that if I play well. So.
Erik, how did you choose UCLA?
I got recruited a lot of places. I've seen a lot of schools, and I just, you just get that feeling when you walk around that, this is where, champions are made here, right? The slogan is
right.
Kind of cheesy as that sounds. It's just everyone's about, training you to be your best, and everyone's just all about that, and everyone's winning championships. The other teams are talking, it's like if you're not, trying to win a championship, it's just, it seems, it's almost like you don't, you're not a part of the school or something like that. So there's a lot of pressure in that, but I think, that's key. Just the environment that's created here is so attractive. Obviously the weather's good for golf, so that's key too. And you know what? It came down to food. The food is great. The dorm food is the best. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, Erik, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
having me.
much.
I want to thank Erik Flores for joining us. Coming up, we're going to talk basketball. We're joined by UCLA assistant coach Scott Garson right here on UCLA Bruin Talk.
After these public service announcements.
A trophy can be made just about anywhere. But there's one place where champions are made. UCLA, champions meet here.
Welcome back to UCLA Bruin Talk. Before we hit the hardwood, Javrina has this week's Athlete of the Week.
This week, we honor Monica Harrison of the UCLA softball team as our Student Athlete of the Week. As a sophomore, Monica has become the first UCLA player to hit 3 home runs in a single game. Harrison reached an all-4 plate appearance in last week's finale, belting solo homers in the 3rd and 7th, a 2-run shot in the 5th, and walking and scoring in the 4th. She finished the weekend 4 for 8 with 5 runs scored. Monica helped the second-ranked Bruins tie a school record with 7 bombs that ended in the 10-4 victory over number 4 Arizona State. This win helped the Bruins sustain their number 1 spot in the Pac-10 with a 10-4 mark and a 35-8 overall record. This year, the sophomore is 5th on the team with a .314 average, tied for 2nd with 9 home runs and 4th with 27 runs scored. She's also tied for 1st with 7 sacrifice hits and has driven in 25 runs. Harrison has 10 multiple hit games this season, with half of them coming during the conference play. Congratulations, Monica, and good luck to you and the rest of the team. If you would like additional information about UCLA athletics, you can call our fan phone line at 310-825-8575, or you can visit us on our website at www.uclabruins.com.
Scott Garson has just completed his 5th season as a member of the UCLA basketball staff. In his time in Westwood, the team has won 3 Pac-10 championships, also gone to 3 Final Fours. The UC Santa Barbara alum works with the perimeter players on both sides of the floor. And Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Let's go back to last season and talk about that, because I know it ended a little bit sooner than you probably would have hoped and may have thought it would.
Well, no question. You know, our goals obviously are to go the distance, as they say, and each and every year, and that's always disappointing. But we were really proud of our team last year, to be honest with you. We lost 3 players the previous year prior to their senior year, in Russell Westbrook, Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute, and Kevin Love, of course, to the NBA, and all 3 started as rookies in the NBA. So we obviously lost a lot of experience and a lot of talent off that team previous. And so coming in this year, there were a lot of new players and a lot of new roles. You had Nikola Dragovic, who eventually became our starting 4-man, that had not played many minutes at all the previous 2 years. You know, you had people like Drew Holiday, who stepped in as a freshman and started and played close to 30 minutes a game as a freshman. Obviously, Darren Collison and Josh Shipp were our stalemates, and then you had Alfred Aboya starting at the center position for the first time in his career. So you had a lot of question marks coming into the season. I think at the end of the day, to make it to the second round of the NCAA tournament, to be 1 game short of winning the Pac-10 title, was still a pretty special year, and we had some great moments this year. And though it ended a little shorter than we wanted it to, all in all, we're really, really proud of our team. We have a great group, and we're very excited about the future here this coming year.
When you talk about the players leaving to go to the NBA, that's an issue that you haven't had to deal with as much as, say, some other schools losing multiple players year after year, and it really gave you kind of a culture shock as far as a reminder of how basketball works nowadays.
Well, to be honest with you know what it tells us? It tells us that we're doing our job, and UCLA is back where it should be in the basketball world, because if you know, the way that men's basketball works nowadays with the NBA and the early entries to the NBA draft, if you're a really, really good team and a highly touted team, and you're playing for Final Fours and national championships every year and winning conference championships, you have really good players. And that's the #1 key to us being successful, is having really good players, and that makes us better coaches, that's for sure. And if you have really good players nowadays, you're going to lose them really to the NBA. So it really says a lot about our program. And you know, in a lot of ways, it's both good and bad. It's a double-edged, you know, deal, and we look at it as, we have to look at it as good, because we want our players to be successful. We're excited. We're so excited for the success that Russell is having, that, you know, finishing 4th in the Rookie of the Year balloting, that Kevin Love finishing 10th in the NBA and rebounding this year. Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute on ESPN.com, they had him as a third-team all-defensive player on ESPN.com, which is unbelievable for a rookie to be named to those places. So plus Jordan Farmar is having success again and doing great. And he had another good year with the Lakers. Aaron Aflalo had some terrific games late in the season when he stepped in for Rip Hamilton in Detroit when he was injured. Ryan Hollins is having an impact in the playoffs right now with Dallas. He's still playing. So it's fun for us. Trevor Ariza, watching him start for the Lakers and play terrific. So it's really fun for our staff now to watch the NBA games. I mean, every game, every night you turn it on, there's one, maybe 2 or 3 Bruins on the floor. And not to mention Earl Watson and Baron Davis and the other Bruins that came before us, Jason Capono, Dan Gadzurek, and those guys are all playing too, and we're very proud of them, even though we didn't coach them ourselves. But it's a lot of fun. UCLA has more players in the NBA right now than any other program.
Coach, do you think you could talk to us a little bit about your duties on the team?
Sure, yeah, I work with our guards. Obviously, my duties also include recruiting. Number one, myself, Donnie Daniels, and Scott Duncan are the 3 assistant coaches that can go out and recruit along with Coach Howland. And then when it comes to on the floor, I work with our guards. So I work with, this past year, obviously with Darren Collison and Drew Holiday, Malcolm Lee, Jeremy Anderson, Michael Roll, and you know, any of the perimeter players in our program. And so I really enjoy that. I really enjoy working with them. We've had some great players at guard. I mean, to be successful in the NCAA tournament, you have to have good guards. They always talk about that. Absolutely. And so, you know, we've had great guards in our place. I mean, bottom line is most of our guards now have gone on to the NBA. So I've had the luxury of working with some great players. Darren Collison has made me look really good for the last couple of years as a coach with the guards, so I got to tell you. But it's a collaborative effort, and you know, Coach Duncan and I both work with the guards together, and obviously Coach Howland oversees it all. And in basketball, it's not as specified as the way football is, for example, you know, where there's offensive coordinators and defense coordinators and nobody ever touches any other area. I mean, we all work together offensively, defensively, schematically as to what we're going to run and how we're going to do things defensively. We take turns as assistants with scouting. So we'll alternate with each game that comes along. You know, one of the assistants will be in charge of one scout, another assistant will be in charge of the next game. So that's another major area that I'm involved. My background prior to being an assistant coach was as a video coordinator. So I'm very adept with the video equipment. So I'm always kind of jumping in and
watching film,
watching a lot of film, and editing a lot of film, and showing our players a lot of film, and I enjoy that very much. I really enjoy that aspect of the game. My favorite part is coaching those guys on the floor and watching film with those guys and seeing them grow up and get better and mature, and you know, getting to work with a young man like a Malcolm Lee right now, who's improving dramatically and is having a great spring. By the way, and you know, right now is the most improved player in our program since the season ended. And that's really fun for you as a coach, you know, to see a kid grow and get better and start to figure out the things that you're trying to work on them with. And,
do you think you could talk about the recruiting process, on what you guys look for in specific when going out and recruiting in high schools? Yeah,
one thing that's very, very important is, and since Coach Howland's been here, has been not only finding obviously highly talented players with high character. That's been very important in our program, and all of our players that we've brought in here have equaled their talent with their character and their interest in academics. And that's been very, very important because, number one, you can't make it at UCLA. That's what UCLA is about. UCLA is about building the all-around person. It's not just being a one-dimensional person. And I think that the people that we've recruited are good people, and their families are good families, and that's very important to us. And when you look at their skill level and things, quickness is everything, and Coach Wooden has talked about that for years, and you must have good quickness. And the way we try and pressure the ball defensively, man-to-man defensively, and the way we try and push the ball, we have to have great quickness. Darren Collison obviously was the quickest player in college basketball for the last several years, and that helped us a lot defensively. Luc Richard-Mbah-a-Moute has unbelievable quickness for a forward. Russell Westbrook is quick and athletic. So you got to get quickness and athleticism. And that's what we look for in recruiting. And, you know, you combine that with obviously enough size to play at our level. And, you know, that's kind of what we go out there and look for. We want guys that play hard too, and a lot of times that comes with character. That's very important. That's a skill that that's a learned skill that not a lot of people talk about. Playing hard is a lot of times the most biggest thing that freshmen have to learn when they come in, is how to play hard. And you know, some guys have that already. Drew Gordon has that innately. Drew Gordon plays very, very hard, and he's never had to learn that. You know, other guys have had to learn how to play hard and play at the intensity level that college basketball brings to you.
Now you're heading into the summer, and that means a lot of tournaments for high school players, club tournaments. How much time on the road are you going to spend recruiting?
We'll be all over the place, scouring the country and scouring the earth, to be honest with you, because you know, we've had very good success now with several foreign players, and I flew back to Africa 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago in December, to Cameroon, just to see some of the see where Luke and Alfred came, see if we can find a couple more Luke and Alfreds. So, but you know, so we're everywhere, and you know, it's you never know. You watch kids, you find kids, you see them. You can't see them enough, because it's amazing how they improve week to week, month to month, year to year. And between the time that we've seen these kids here in the spring period, which was finished in April, there'll be May and June where kids have an opportunity to really improve, and we could see a lot of improvement in some of the players we're looking at in July.
So when you talk about UCLA and you're going out and you're selling, how much does that great legacy of UCLA basketball come back to help you?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, you know, all the parents of all of our players know, and the kids don't always know right away, but they know UCLA is this great basketball place. They don't necessarily know why. Their parents have to maybe tell them. But our job is made so much easier on the recruiting trail because of what Coach Wooden did here, because of Mike Warren, because of Lou Alcindor, because of Bill Walton, and John Vallely, and all the great players that come before us. Ed O'Bannon, Tyus Edney, Jim Herrick winning the national championship, the 11th title, and all those championships and all. I mean, it's the only arena you can walk into in the entire country, and there's no conference championships, there's no Final Four banners, it's just national championship banners. And there's an aura and a presence that comes with that that's pretty special. When we bring a recruit on campus, they walk in there and, you know, we've won 30 conference championships, but that's not our goal here. Our goal is to put number 12 up there in the rafters every year. And that's a lot of fun. It raises the expectation level for us, and it's a lot of pressure, but it also raises the level that all of us work at the game.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I want to thank you for joining us as well. Join us again next time as we take you inside UCLA athletics right here, UCLA Bruin Talk.